about social reality. I'm always questioning realities.
And you heard about the Hamas and Israel war.
I just cannot believe that is legally, they're...
What do you think? What is the future of AI?
And now presently working on a web series.
Thoughts about spirituality.
Namaste, Castle Life!
Good morning, Ella. Truth. It's so great to be here with you as always.
All things above all things. Can I say something crazy?
Okay, hi Alizah, how are you?
I'm very good, AJ. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you. And I'm happy to see you on this podcast. This is
I'm
our...
happy to be here.
Okay. So can you tell our audience about you, like your journey? Because as I told to my audience in a trailer, okay? So in the trailer, you are coming and I explained that you are an actress who working in Hollywood and Bollywood both. So my audience want to hear from you as well, okay? Please give a short introduction about you.
Yeah, so my name's Alizah. I come from America. I am from the East Coast, Boston area, but was living in Los Angeles, California up until COVID. And I happened to be in India, actually Delhi, and COVID happened, and I decided to miss my flight home. I booked a flight to Goa, and that was one of the best decisions of my life because I got to enjoy Goa and really feel more connected to India than Los Angeles. So before India, I was living in LA. I was studying acting and working as an actress in theater and in film. I went to school for both. So I really enjoy all different forms of acting. I was taking improv classes and working with the Meisner technique and comedy classes and just auditioning for all different kinds of things and anything from print work, modeling to commercial, web series, film. And then I started to work on my own projects. So I really love creating stories. And I also really like to share a positive message or something that, about social reality. I'm always questioning reality. So I started to write my own short films around that. And now presently working on a web series in light of that and personal and collective development. And since I've been in India, I've worked on a couple different music videos. I've done a lot of print work, and I'm on a TV show right now. And again, just auditioning for all different kinds of things. I've been teaching acting classes here locally in Goa, and I've been teaching acting classes that are about personal development as well. So combining those two, which has been really interesting and exciting. And one of my goals here is to do a theater production. And so I've been working on writing that with local artists in Goa.
Great. So, how's your experience in India? Like, you are living, I think you are living more than 2 years in India. So how's your experience here? Like, how's the people and everything in India?
Yeah, so I have to say the industry in India is completely different than it is in the US. And right now I'm working in Tollywood, not so much in Bollywood. So I would say depending on the project and depending on what where in India the project is. I think that has something to do with it. How big the project is has something to do with it. But Indian culture in general is very different than American culture. So you can imagine that the way that things run is very different. And coming from Los Angeles, which is the most advanced place in the world for film production, my standards are very high, and that is often, India is a developing country, right? So it's been challenging for me, honestly, to go from Los Angeles and to have that opportunity, and then to go to one of the smaller areas and industries. Yet at the same time, there's so many people in India, right? So it's a smaller industry, or less advanced, and maybe smaller budgets, but there's so many more people here. So that's really interesting. And the people themselves, again, it's a very different culture. So I'm learning a lot, and communication is very different. I think values are very different. So it's really interesting for me. And yeah, definitely a journey in itself. Like, being on a show is one thing, but then actually it's not just about that, it's about the experiences you go through while you're working on that. So it could be anything, not just a TV show. It could be, on a set of a commercial, like the experience being there, the crew that you're working with. These are all like real life experiences that are important to understand and to really give light to. It's not just about the end product. It's about the process and the journey and going through that, which I think we really need to talk more about and understand more about these work environments.
Great. And you were talking about like you are working on a web series. So the web series is American web series or Indian web series?
Yeah, so the web series is based a lot on my personal life. It's a fictional character, but this
Okay.
character travels, and a major part of her experiences is cross-cultural communication and seeing the dichotomies in reality. So, for example, the inequalities of wealth, the different economies in the world. I was in Los Angeles one day thinking about, oh, what designer watch am I going to get? And the next day I was in Delhi in traffic looking at these babies, that are asking for money. And I was like, why am I concerned about having this designer watch when these people are suffering, So that really, I just got the chills. I'm getting the chills so much right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
It,
all of
also
these
mine,
things, like, yeah. So,
because I'm also like you. Okay, I can't see these things happening. Okay, like if somebody come to me and say, "Hey, I need your help," and he's, I feel very bad. That's why, on my personal channel, I make social videos. Okay, I'm not even monetizing that channel because just that is just for humanity, right?
passion, yeah. Beautiful, beautiful. And I think that's part of the industry itself, actually, coming back to the film industry, is that we really need to be creating content and sharing stories that are inspiring and educational. And so that people can understand this, people can contribute, and I think a lot of the
Right.
industry, there's so much money in this industry, but a lot of the projects aren't demonstrating this and these opportunities we have to really understand ourselves individually and the human soul to collectively and the global, like being a global citizen.
What about your family? They also live here, or they are in United States?
Yeah, so as I'm sure you know, family culture is very different in America than it is in India. And my
Yeah.
family's spread across the country. So my brother lives in Utah, my sister Colorado, my dad Vermont and Florida, my mom Massachusetts. So literally all around the country. And yeah, it's really interesting because once you go off to college, that's basically it, living at home. And often we go to college outside of the state that we live, right? And even sometimes abroad. I went internationally to school. So yeah, it's very different in that sense. Yeah.
So do you miss them?
Yeah, so as a kid,
That's a
actually,
normal
I
question.
was yeah, of course I miss them, but I maintain a relationship with them, like, because we have this technology now. I call my
Right.
mom and my dad all the time, and I feel like they're close, so it's really nice. And before this, I'm from the East Coast and living in Los Angeles. That's 6 hours air, on an airplane. So I was already used to, and I lived abroad before that. So it's I've just been used to it since I was 17 years old. Yeah.
Can you tell me, uh, like who told you to come in India and work in this industry? Like,
Yeah.
anyone told you that Indian industry, film industry is better or good, or you just tried by yourself?
Yeah, I just tried it by myself. I wasn't ever really interested in it. I only knew of Bollywood being like musical breakouts in a film, which is really cool, like a musical in a film. We don't really have that so much at home where there's musical dances and in films. And so that's like, I saw it as a completely different culture, completely different format than I was used to, and not something that was familiar to me. So I wasn't interested in it. It was only after actually being in Goa, because I came here to work on my own project and to work on my own theater production, my own music, and my own web series. So the idea was to be here. I love Goa. I love the environment, to live at low cost, to live connected to nature. But then I'm doing jobs like I teach yoga and fitness and all these things. And that's not really, it's hard to say this on camera now, but that's not
You
my
are getting
essence.
emotional.
No, well, it's like I don't want anyone that I work for to think I don't appreciate the work or anything. Because right now I'm not working on any such, but it's like that's not my calling. Like I love fitness and health, and I was doing it even in Los Angeles as a subsidizing my expenses, right? So my lifestyle, and
Hmm.
but yeah, how did I get into it here? I just, I don't know. There's a bunch of different casting groups, and I have other friends that work in the industry here, and to see them doing it, and to know that I have a lot of experience and I have such a love for it, I was like, okay, I just need to start going for castings. So I just got into it, and I actually saw that there's such a need for white women, blonde women. There's not very many Americans. So it's a lot easier for me to get work and to get noticed here than it is there. And so since I live here and this is my passion, it's really cool that I get to do what I love in an
Okay.
environment that I love being in.
How you got in your mind that you should be an actor? Because as
Yeah.
I told, because you told me that you have knowledge about AI, have knowledge about crypto and all. You are very genius girl. So how you got into this acting industry?
Yeah, it's really interesting that you say that because I love acting and I've always felt that this is what I need to do. I've always been interested in it, yet society has, at least the way that I saw it socially, a certain connotation to being an artist and to being an actor, and it's not really taken so seriously. So growing up, math was my favorite and my best subject, and both my parents are entrepreneurs in business and studied economics and politics. And so, I just thought, okay, it's hard to make it as an actor, or, oh, that's not a real job. I have to have a real job. So as a kid, I would create little theater productions around our neighborhood. I would always come up with like crazy things in my head, like act them out by myself. Yeah. Like so many silly stories I can tell as when I was a child, just coming up with like acting in different characters. So it's definitely always been within me. However, I also feel like I had low self-esteem and not so much confident in myself that I didn't really take myself seriously as an actress all my life. So I've only been doing it for less than 10 years. And that's when actually I was in New York. I did a commercial just because a friend who's a model, I was doing some modeling work. She suggested I go for this audition and I got the part and I played the lead role and I loved it. I loved playing the lead. I loved working with this crew. I loved being on camera. They gave me really good feedback. So that affirmation or the reaffirming, that reaffirmed my love for it and my capacity to do it, that I decided to move to Los Angeles shortly after that to pursue it. Because I said, if I don't do it now in my life, then I'm never going to do it. So I'm not going to be happy unless I do what I love. So I had to really go with my heart versus my head. And my head was always telling me, oh, no, you shouldn't do this. So more and more, I just have to break those barriers and that like subconscious programming, which is really challenging actually still today.
So when do you have plan to go to LA? Like, because the holidays is biggest holiday, Christmas is coming. So do you have plan to celebrate here, or you are going LA?
Well, my family is in New England mostly. So my mom lives in Massachusetts and my father's in Vermont, between Vermont and Florida.
Okay.
So my nucleus family is, in New England. So yeah, I do plan on going there for Thanksgiving, which is in a couple weeks. So that's
Oh,
really exciting. And I haven't been
yeah, I
home
can
for
understand.
like,
Long
yeah.
time.
So I'll go home. I don't think I'll go to LA because, LA is my home in America. However, I don't want to get too distracted of being back in America. I really want to focus on my work right now. And it doesn't matter where I am, but I feel like if I go back to LA, I'm going to just like be on vacation, and enjoy seeing friends and just like taking it easy, and that I really need to work right now. So yeah, I'll go home and see my family, but it will be short and sweet.
Okay, yeah, I can understand. Work is everything, because we have technology. So if we want to talk with the parents, we have mobile phone, we can
Exactly.
talk on video call. Like you are sitting in Goa, I'm sitting in Delhi, and we are talking. Yeah, I'm feeling
Exactly.
like I'm sitting with you and talking with you.
It's so cool, right?
So
Exactly.
it's technology have the benefits and the bad bad things also, very well. So you told me about AI, artificial intelligence. So what do you think? What is the future of AI?
Yeah, I don't think AI is bad or it could be bad. I don't see it as good or bad. A lot of people say, oh, it's going to take away so many jobs and it's going to take over humanity. But that's not true. It's just the advancement of technology, the advancement of civilization, which is just a part of this life, right? So the internet came, cell phones came, blockchain came, like this is just technology that is going to be implemented and integrated into our lives. So, yeah, of course,
Right.
there will be jobs that will be not needed
Right.
anymore, but that's happened
But
so many times in the past. There's new jobs that will come
new
about,
jobs,
right?
right? Like
Yeah,
prompt after chat GPT, there is prompt engineer on high demand. People are looking
yeah,
for prompt engineer. So that is new job. There is
exactly.
many other jobs coming into the same field. So I know
Yeah.
it's if some jobs are going, better jobs are coming. So we have to keep updated ourselves with the technology, right?
I was just going to say, I don't think it will take away from the human mind. It could never be a human because it doesn't have a soul. And I think that there's something very unique
Yeah,
about each individual here. So we have to work with it. We have to have a relationship with it. And I know for myself, I've been using it to write a script and being able to put in my ideas for a show and it to give me the feedback and the response. It's like talking to a friend, but a friend that has so much information and a very vast and a very practical way of looking at things that it gives me a feedback and kind of a mirror of things that is very useful and a person couldn't do, right? Like you can get different opinions from different people, but this is opinion and response feedback that is unique and super valuable, especially when you're creating something, right? So it just puts things in perspective. You could say a perspective. And also we have to be aware of what we're feeding it. So that brings you back to the human element of it. It's like, well, what are we feeding it that it's giving us something back? So that's the power of the human and us using this tool, right?
right. So, what do you think about? Let's talk about spirituality. Your thoughts about spirituality, like as I told you, India is a country which have long history, and there was lots of saints, and yoga is founded in India. So, what do you think about spirituality? Like it is good. Everyone should understand this, or this is just bullshit. What do you think?
Yeah, I feel that we're here on this earth for only so long and that our soul has an eternal journey. So of course it's really important to understand and to have some kind of spiritual practice, spiritual connection with ourselves and this world. Because at the end of the day, I don't feel that this life is all that we have. And I don't think that this life, this material reality, is the true existence. I think that we're spiritual beings having a material experience. And so, with that said, we have to look at reality from a spiritual lens, and sharpen our spiritual perception. So, I've been involved in the Baha'i community, which I find the most direct connection from me to spirituality. And I was never into any kind of religion or faith growing up because my mother's Jewish, my father's Catholic. I was made fun of as a half Jew. And I didn't understand because, yeah, it's beautiful, the Jewish religion and Christianity, but I wasn't really taught it. My parents didn't practice it. They just said that this is what they are because their parents were. So there's one thing of like being something just because your parents are or just because someone is, but that's not you being it, right? So I can't take on something as myself if I don't understand it. It's like I have to have a connection to it like I do myself, like my soul, my spirituality, right? That's the only way I could practice it. So with that being said, I've always been a spiritual person, I think. Yoga was one of my first spiritual experiences, and I've always felt that there's something more to life than this. And then when I got into the Baha'i faith, it really made me understand a lot of what I already thought, that we're one human race, that each religion came at a different time, and that there should be respect for all religions. Each person has their own path to God. Each person has their own connection to spirituality. We can't know God, but we can have a connection. Like, I think that it's something greater than ourselves. And in society, we have this idea, I think, because of Judaic, okay, why do we not like religion? Why do people have a negative perception of God? Still, for me, the word God is challenging. And I try to recreate that idea, So, yeah, of course, I think everyone should have spirituality because I think that's the essence of our existence and who we are. And if we don't think about that, then we're not really truly like breathing. We're not really breathing into what is life and understanding life or trying to understand our life. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Have you been in Rishikesh?
Yeah, I did a yoga. Yeah, I did my yoga training in Rishikesh.
Okay, so how long you were there, in Rishikesh?
I was in Rishikesh only for 2 months, actually. I can't believe it's been so long, too. I did a month yoga training for my 200 hours, and then I stayed and I was teaching at the yoga school for 1 month.
Oh, okay. So teaching yoga, like if you want teach me yoga, how you will teach me? Online or I have to come there?
I teach online and I teach in person. Since I've been back in India, I was doing just events, not really personal training in India, but events that are yoga inspired. So I have been teaching friends, and I've been teaching people in the US and around the world from different places. Actually, I was teaching people in India online when I was back in the US last year, and only recently teaching people online. Yeah.
You was talking about egg donor. What is egg donor? Can you first explain me and your experience as an egg donor?
Yeah, so basically when someone wants to have a child and they can't have eggs, they can't themselves, they get an egg donor, and then that person, basically they're using someone else's eggs to have a baby.
Oh,
So someone will like carry the eggs, like say I have eggs, right? So you'll take some kind of injection so that you can create more eggs, just like any kind of animal would, right? Like have many eggs, right? And then so they'll extract those eggs from the individual that can have them, and they'll put them in the body of the person who can't. And then that person will connect the egg with the sperm of their partner, and they'll have a baby.
wow. So you donate your eggs?
I mean, not like regularly, but
Oh, no,
yeah, I
sometime.
did.
Okay.
I mean, I did. Yeah.
So how you felt like, because your baby is somewhere. I
Yeah,
mean, your
actually, a
eggs.
couple.
Yeah,
Yeah,
couple.
yeah, which is
Yeah.
cool.
So that is,
Yeah.
that is very emotional thing. Anyways,
Yeah.
that is your personal thing. Okay. You help somebody to get a child. That is also humanity, and that is a kind of work you did. So I appreciate that. So I'm talking about now. Let's talk about LA, okay, and the Hollywood and the industry. What do you think about the Hollywood industry? And I hear there is Atlanta, which is being uh, a mini Hollywood, you can say, to Atlanta. Is it correct?
Yeah.
That is
I
all.
haven't personally ever been to Atlanta, but I have friends that work there and they're doing pretty well. Los Angeles itself is, and there was a statistic I heard once that like 100,000 people move to LA every year to be actors. And this was many years ago, maybe 10 years ago. So you can imagine that number has increased. So when you go to an audition, they're looking for a certain character, right? A certain profile. And it's kind of weird when you walk into the room for the audition and there's like 20 girls, 50 girls that look like you. Not look like you, but they fit this role, right?
Yeah.
Of course, we all have different, but there's familiarities with the looks and to play this one character. So that's kind of challenging because you can very easily compare yourself to others, and it's very easy to get discouraged because you're going to get turned down so much. And at the same time, because it's a very physical thing that they're looking for, or you never know what they're looking for actually, right? You can't take things personally. And I think that that's definitely a challenge for many people, is taking it personally, and the emotional attachment to working. So people that have made it what they say to me is that the ones that make it are the ones that really stick with it. And you have to really have strong, what do you call this? A strong skin. I think you have to
Strong.
really have thick skin. You have to have thick skin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thick.
And yeah, it's a very common saying in America, actually, to
Mhm.
have thick skin. So yeah, that as an actor is something that you're going to face. And it's really hard to navigate, I think, because there's so many ways to go about it. You know, it's not it's not a profession that okay, I'm going to study for 4 years and then I'm going to study for 2 years and get my master's, then I'm going to study and get my doctorate. Like, it doesn't work like this. You know, there's not job placement, right? It's not something that you can work up in your field. So acting, you never know when something's going to happen. There's a lot of uncertainty. So obviously that's a challenge. And I think, especially in LA, it's a lot of networking. It's a lot of who you know. So, for example, some of the roles that I got happened so randomly. Like, I was leaving one audition for a commercial, and I get into a Lyft, which is like Uber, shared Lyft. And the guy next to me was a producer, and he was literally casting someone with my profile while we were in the car. And he said, "Hey, do you want to be in the movie?" And I said, "Yeah, of course." So that's how I got a part, just because we shared an Uber together. And the other aspect of it is that, like, I mean, I haven't really been that deep into it and had that level of success where, I mean, I do have friends that have had, are famous and have had a lot of success. And I think that, they would validate this point that even at the top, there's politics, right? People have told me this many times. There's politics. So even if you're not the best for the part, if you have some connections, and I'm sure it's the same in Bollywood, then you can get the part. Something that we don't deal with as much, but yeah, it happens, is this compromising, this couch. What do you call it? Couch.
Casting couch. Casting
couch. I didn't know this term until I came to India. Casting couch. Yeah.
And the other thing you are talking about, that is nepotism. Nepotism means if somebody giving role to the friend or to the family member, that is nepotism. Okay, so tell me your experience, if you had any of both.
I was really blessed to have grown up in an environment where my dad, he's a really good networker, and he has a lot of friends that have celebrity status. And that was really interesting to see how people do treat these celebrities differently, and how people would kind of work through him or just maneuver themselves in certain ways to get closer to celebrities, and that in itself, they call it climbing the ladder, actually. So you really have to be careful of people trying to climb the ladder and being friends with you just because they want something from you. And that's actually something really sad about LA, is that a lot of people, and I think the world in general, it's like people, not really caring about you as a person and just wanting something from you. So that definitely happens. So you have to be really strong with yourself, and I think have a strong community, have people that really do support you. And for myself, coming from Boston and living in LA, it's like when I would take a flight home and land in Boston, it was like therapy, because LA is very superficial as a community, as a society, and it's very hard. And then people in Boston are very blue collar, very hardworking, the working class. And so they're very straightforward. They're very honest, just like New York in a sense. And they're very down to earth. And so that's like really refreshing and like therapy, coming from a place where people are superficial and trying to climb the ladder. Yeah.
So, what about in India? Is there any experience or somebody ask you to compromise or to do this casting couch thing? Somebody tried with you?
Yeah, no. So I think that I have this fire in me that is like a tiger almost, that really is so I could not allow that. I do not stand for that. It's like, I hate when people try to take advantage of someone, and especially a woman's femininity, a woman's sexuality, her sacred energy. Like, that to me, it makes me want to punch someone if they want to like try this, because it has nothing to do with work. Actually, her
Right.
beauty on screen is her talent and her sacredness. And if you want to try to sleep with her and devalue that, it's so horrible to me. So
Yeah.
I really just have this fire in me to stand up against that and to stand for women. The only time I've had this experience, I could say two examples. One example is that when I was giving my measurements, I cannot believe this. Actually, I posted this on Facebook. One casting director, and it was, I think many times it's happened, but they ask you for your measurements, and the last question is compromise. And so I messaged them. I was like, okay, you're asking for my measurements, but like, what does this compromise mean? And I knew what it meant, but I just wanted to hear them say it. That's like the fire in me of like, how could you do this? And so I was like, what does compromise mean? And they're like, oh, just put no. And I'm like, how are you even answering me? Just put no. And that's the difference of the culture as well, of like, oh, just let it go. Just let's not say anything, In LA, you would talk about it. Like, you couldn't just hide it. You couldn't just say, oh, just say no, And so that to me was like, this is happening and people actually say yes. Like, I just cannot believe that is legally, like, there'd be so many legal issues in the US around that, I'm sure, like lawsuits. I mean, the whole Me Too movement is based off of this kind of thing, right? So yeah, I think the fact that women think they have to compromise is part of the problem. And the fact that women do compromise and devalue themselves, then it becomes acceptable, right? Then people are getting away with it. So that's one example. The second example is just sometimes when I've gotten a part here in India, I'll notice that the agent will be like, oh, now you owe me something, or like make little comments, what are you going to do for me? That one. What are you going to do for me if I get you the role? And I'm like, you're going to get paid because you get a commission off of getting me the job, and that's your work and that's our agreement. Like, what are you expecting? And so being talked to like that, I shut it down right away, and I'll either make a joke back to them, and like, I just play with it and be a little manipulative, honestly, because I just, again, have this fire where I'm like, I have to do reverse psychology here. It's not okay. You have to see that what you're saying is wrong.
Actually, this casting couch and all this compromising thing was happened a few years back in all the industry. Now, girls, the actresses are getting, understand what exactly this compromise means and all. So they just deny it. So girls are, uh, you know, confident now about the work. They don't care if they give work or not. Doesn't matter. Okay, right? So that's a good thing. I have one of my friend in Canada. Okay, so she also asked for the casting couch. Okay, in Hollywood. Okay, so she told me that she denied. Okay, I don't need your job. Okay, keep your job. Okay, but I can't compromise. So I like her.
Wow.
Right. So
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
so any here like in Goa, how's the weather right now?
So I'm sitting outside. I really want to jump in the pool. The pool's right there. It's so nice. It's a little hot. I was just shooting in Hyderabad this past week. I think I got back Sunday. Yeah, I came back on Sunday. And it was like super humid. So going from one city in India to another, I noticed that Goa is quite humid right now.
I saw
But I love it.
I saw your videos with Sunny Leon that you worked with her as well on the TV show. What was that show all about? Because that was in Telugu, so I didn't understand what exactly they are
Yeah.
talking about. So what is that?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really beautiful concept, actually. The show takes place in Hyderabad and
Mm-hmm.
villages around Hyderabad. So we're working in one village specifically called Kasala, and we meet with
Uh-huh.
the local villagers to learn about the culture and the Telugu language. So Sunny
Okay.
Leone helped us to open the show, and she was featured in the first 2 episodes. And so she was like the celebrity guest for the first episode. And you have to stay tuned to watch, but we have other celebrities on the show as well. And that's really cool. And yeah, it's in Telugu. There's some parts in English. So I think that if you do speak English or Telugu, you can pick things up. Like for myself, being on the show, it's I'm getting it. So yeah, anyone can watch it. And I think it's not only about the language; it's also the moments. So at least being
Right.
on set when you're with the villagers, like this woman, she did the henna for me.
Henna.
Like she's
Yeah, I
she's
was
one of
about
the
to ask you that who did this.
yeah. So it was actually during the TV show, during filming, we were in
Okay.
someone's house, and
Uh-huh.
another woman who I had met before last time I was there, she came up to me and she's like, every time I see you, it makes me so happy. And she has a little baby with her. And I remembered her from before. And she said, can I do some henna on your hands? And I said, yeah, of course. I would love that because I love doing this. And I think it looks so cool. So yeah, she did it for me. And it was just really nice. Because later when I'm on stage and I have it in my hands and she's in the audience, it was really cool to be like, oh, like you gave me this gift, and it's all love, it's like we're
Yeah,
not
right.
speaking this language, but yeah.
Indian have very heart-touching people in India, right? So
Yeah.
Indian people are very heart-touching. If they love you, they will always love you. If they hate you, they will always hate you. So
Yeah. Yeah.
so they are different kind of thinking because of the culture they born and grown, right? Do you
Yeah.
have interest in politics also? Politics,
I don't
geopolitics, or
actually.
Indian politics or American politics? Anything?
No, I don't have any interest in politics, honestly. My father worked in politics a bit growing up, and that was really interesting to me. I was on student council growing up too, so I was involved in the politics in my school.
Mm-hmm.
However, I don't really get involved with it because I think that the basis of that or anything, like there's a very important role for politics to play, like a certain level of nobility and ownership, responsibility, right? But there's also
Right.
that relationship to the society. So I think that people really need to be heard. And at the same time, we really need to be able to trust those people that are in these political positions. So I don't get involved because I have a lot
Okay.
of questions that I don't know and I don't understand and I don't know what the true reality is. So I
Mm-hmm.
think we can see something in the media, someone say something, but are they actually acting that way? Is that the really, really, really the reality? So when people say politically correct, like, there's a reason why we use these terms, right? Or propaganda, like these political terms that kind of make us mistrust someone or be misguided. And so I'm not involved in it because I don't really know. And I think that I couldn't know. So that's where I'm at.
Okay. Cool. And you heard about the Hamas and Israel war? You hear about that or watched it in news?
Yeah, I have a friend who's in Israel right now. I was in Israel before. Um, you know, um, the Baha'i headquarters is in Israel. Headquarters, you couldn't really say it, but like the
Mm-hmm.
Universal House of Justice is there. And so Israel, I think, is important to me, but it's just an important place in the world. And again, it just goes back to, I think, not knowing and like the ignorance. Like people are fighting over things and fighting for reasons and in ways that I think are very childish, like very not even adolescent, less than adolescent, you know. It's
Mm-hmm.
as human beings, we're meant to be noble. We're meant to collaborate. We're meant to coexist, right? So when I watch something in the news and I see how the politicians are talking to each other, like political
Right.
debates and how they treat each other, I honestly see a lack of nobility. And these are the people that are supposed to represent us, you know? So I think that a lot of the issues that we're facing in the world are very juvenile, and that we have so much more potential as human beings, and that we need to debate on that level. We need to have consultations on this level. We need to have this unity and diversity, respecting each other, you know? And so if there's ever a fight over power, then no one's going to win, actually. Yeah.
Okay. Your non-profit, what your non-profit will
Oh,
do?
the
It
nonprofit.
will be.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the company is out of New York City, and it's a nonprofit called Media Society. The
Mm-hmm.
idea is to bring about equality, raise awareness of injustices through
Mm-hmm.
film, music, and education programs. So I develop and teach education programs. I'm a singer-songwriter and obviously an actress and creator of media projects, film projects. I
That's
think
great.
that, yeah, so I feel that one of the ways we can impact the world the most is through media, and
Mm-hmm.
the music that we listen to has such an impact on us and can really uplift our spirit, can really make us to think certain ways about ourselves. You know, it's so powerful, music and film. So I really want to use that to inspire people, because I don't think it's being used enough as a tool as it can be and should be used. And then of course education programs naturally falls under that as well, because it's all about education and inspiring people through learning.
Mm-hmm. So where you will publish your web series, on which platform?
Yeah, so I'm
Netflix
not at the
or
point.
okay.
No, I'm not at the point where it's I'm not at the point where I have that answer. I
Oh,
think what I want to do, though, because it's a social impact project, is to really make it about the people. And so I don't know about selling it to any kind of platforms. Like,
good.
yeah, I don't know. You know, will there be any downfall to licensing it? I don't think so. But
Mm-hmm.
I really want there to be this social element of it where the audience can interact with the development of the series. So
Mm-hmm.
also using blockchain, using Web3, I think Film 3 will be a big part of it, because in Film 3 and using blockchain technology, there's a lot more of it's a decentralized system, and there's more power to the people. So yeah, I know that that'll definitely be an important element of it. But in terms of, yeah, I don't really know where, like, I'm not at that stage where I have it to,
Okay, no problem.
yeah.
Okay, best of luck for your series and for the work you are going to do with the humanity, with
Thank you.
the people. Okay, you are doing good job.
Thank you.
I saw your
Thank
work
you.
on Instagram, on Facebook, everywhere. I will share your links as well on it, so people
Thank
also
you.
can watch about.
Thank
So,
you.
what do you think about our work? Like if we are doing podcast, okay? So, what do you think? It can be a good idea talking with the people around the world from the same industry. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really important. I think that there's not enough of that out there, you know? So I think getting different feedback from people around the world, people in the industry, you know, the general public and audiences of projects, they don't know what goes into it. They don't know how much work it really is. And so I think just as much as it is important to show a show, there's a show behind the scenes, that really is a
Right.
show in itself. So I think it's a really noble job and an important job, and especially the fact that you have people from around the world. It's really interesting to get different perspectives and different experiences, because each each job is different, right? Each perception, because of the job is different, will be different. But also, again, it goes back to culture, right? And differences, like you could work in the UK, and work in theater or work in film. Like there's
Right.
local, like Boston, there's the community for film in Boston, it's not LA. So no matter where you are, there could be work, right? So I think that's really interesting that how do different people, relate and share their experiences.
Okay. So this episode and all of the episode will be by everyone around the world. This is a content, the episode I'm making for the people around the world, so everyone will watch it. So do you have any message, special message for the people who will watch it? Any special message?
Yes, I do. I would like to say that it's very important for all of us to ask questions and to get inspired by other people. I would say those two things are the most important things, to really think outside of the box that we were brought up in, to constantly grow and evolve, and to constantly share ourselves, our authentic selves, our unique ideas. I think a lot of people hold back their questions and their comments. So as
Right.
people watch this content, I really encourage them to ask questions, to comment, and to share their opinions, because that's really where things will evolve and the discourse happens. So I think it's really important for the viewing audience to really get more involved and to be proactive. And just really share yourself and try to learn from others and ask questions. Yeah.
Great. It was a nice conversation with you today. If you want to say anything else, you can talk. But I really like to talk with you. I learn lots of things in this industry and about you, about the world, about humanity, spirituality. So it was a good conversation, and I will best of luck you for your future projects. Okay, and always I mean my team, I am always stand with you if you need anything, like in your projects, okay, in future, we will talk everything personally, okay, on phone. Anyways,
Yeah.
that's the thing, and thank you so much for talking with
Thank
us
you
and
so
giving a chance to on our channel, to our company. Okay, we are also a growing company. We are growing. Okay, I started this company without any funds. Okay, when I started with a single penny. Okay, and now it's growing. I'm happy that people from around the world know the company, know me. So thank you, because people.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Congratulations. This is so important, and I think so under acknowledged, is when entrepreneurs start something by themselves with no resources. That is a struggle, but it really takes to have a vision and to really believe in yourself and to really work hard. So I'm sure you've worked hard and you saw your vision, and now it's manifesting in a beautiful way. And so congratulations, because you're such a good example. And I think that we need more people like that. And we need people to see you as an example for them to do it, because I'm sure so many people are watching you, or they don't even know that, this exists, or they're in their homes, and in a small town. And that's the beauty of YouTube, is that we can connect with people all over from just their
Right.
cell phone, And so for someone like a kid to see you doing this, and to say, okay, I did it without any resources, like they can do it too, and that's
Yes,
really, wow. That's
right.
awesome. Yeah.
So, I when I started this journey, I was working in a company, and there was a big accident happened with me. I will share with you the videos. Or you can check on my channel as well. So you can see here all these stitches. Okay, so there was a surgery happened of my face. There was a big accident. So after that, I realized that why I will work for somebody. He's just giving me few rupees, and I'm giving him lots of money. Okay, he is getting Porsche, Ferrari, and all everything. Okay, I'm just getting this salary every first, and doing. He is growing, so why should not I grow by myself, my people, okay, my area, okay? Why should I not create jobs, okay? And that's why I started this company. By the way, on personal channel, as I told you, that is for humanity. I don't monetize. Okay, I have 11 plus millions views, but I never monetize the channel. It will be always like the same.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. I think also it's important though to get paid for what you do. And I think that
Yeah,
a lot of people, they don't think that their passion can be a job. So I think that the service that we have in this world, there is this need to get paid for it, right? It's like people think, oh, if I work in the corporate world, then I'll get paid and then I'll get money, and they just stay in that versus think outside of the box and know that what their gift is should have a material value to that because we're in a material world, right?
right.
So
Okay, so
yeah.
thank you. Now,
Yeah, thank
I'm.
you so much. Yeah.
I think it's enough. Or do you want talk about anything else, any other topic, or anything you can tell me? We can cut this part and.
There's one. Well, there's one more thing. I don't want to take too much time because it's almost
No,
two
no,
hours now.
take your
Uh,
time. It's okay.
yeah.
Yeah, tell me.
Well, yeah, because you mentioned a car accident. I wanted to. It was a car accident, yeah, or
Yeah, yeah, motorcycle, bike, racing bike accident.
motorcycle. Okay. So I also had an experience that I had an accident. It was a car accident. And for me, it was a very similar thing that it woke me up to think, what am I doing with my life? And why am I living the life that I'm living? So I hit a wall, and I think there's this metaphor in English, American English, where it's like, oh, I hit a wall, like if something happens in your life and you have a stop, like things, stop and
Right.
you have to think about it, you hit a wall, right? So I
Yeah.
literally actually hit a wall on the highway. I went 65
Wow.
miles an hour, so that's highway speed, straight
Wow.
into the cement wall. And I walked out of there, ran out of there completely fine. And so I was in the ER after that, like crying. I was sitting outside the ER crying because there was nothing wrong with me. And the doctor said, you're completely fine. You can go home. And I was like, I had a friend who was doing a meditation with me as I was sitting there, like, okay, just breathe, breathe. And I said to her, I don't want to breathe. I don't want to breathe. And I just I had this aha moment of like, I don't want to be alive. Like, I'm a very positive person. I was a very positive person, but I didn't feel I had any reason to be alive. It wasn't that I was suicidal. It wasn't that I was thinking negative. It was that I just didn't I just didn't have a reason to be alive, And so that's when I went back to school for music, and then I came to India during COVID, and I was full time in Los Angeles in music school when COVID happened. So I got to continue my classes because everything was online. I got to be living in Goa, taking music classes, taking dance classes, ballet, hip hop, jazz singing, Indian singing. I learned Indian singing too. So like this passion that I've had since I was a child that was just so natural in who I am, I was able to tap back into that. And it took a car accident to be like, what are you doing with your life? You know, you're not living it on terms of your heart. You're living it for what you think you should do and all these things that are not who you are, you know? So,
Right.
yeah, I wanted to share that.
Oh, that's great. You know, you share good stories. So, okay. Anyways,
Yeah,
anything else we can talk?
that's it. That's it. Yeah.